On today's episode of WGTV, we travel to a local organization that allows prom-age girls to say yes to any dress. We explore student struggles with their body image and self-esteem. And finally, we dive into the story of twin brothers that made a splash at a state swim meet. These stories and more on this episode of WGTV. Good afternoon, Wildcats, and thank you for tuning into this episode of WGTV. Live from the Grove, I'm Tyler Medeiros.
And I'm Emma McQuitty.
We have many exciting stories coming up, but first, Emma's going to catch you up on what's been happening at the Grove. Emma?
Thanks, Tyler. Last Friday, the theater department went over to Lebanon Trail High School to compete in UIL. They have advanced to bi-district for their one-act play. Theater will be going over to the Colony on Thursday to give their performance. This past week was Hope Week. To celebrate, Prosper ISD held its annual Hope Walk around Children's Health Stadium, spreading mental health awareness. Prom tickets are going on sale April 2nd. They will be sold on My School Bucks. The town of Prosper is hosting a logo competition open to all high schoolers, public, private, or homeschooled. According to the town hall, the winner will be recognized at the Town of Prosper Council meeting. Submissions are due on April 12th. For more information, go to prospertexas.gov/downtown logo or scan the QR code.
Last week, we had guest speaker John Paul Gonzalez visit Walnut Grove. Sharka Call was able to speak to him about his journey from a teacher to the man responsible for the Giants Super Bowl victory. Sharka?
Thank you. With me here in studio is John Paul Gonzalez, our speaker from last week, who spoke to the entire population of Walnut Grove as well as the 8th graders from Rogers Middle School, and he spoke to us about the message of All In. So what does that mean to you? How did you come up with this philosophy?
Sharka, I think for me, I feel it's something that's a lifestyle. I think it's something that all of us have the opportunity to live, every day and every moment. Did get popularized by working with the New York Giants, speaking to them, the night before Christmas Eve during their season and, kind of challenging them. What does All In look like for them?
Yeah, okay. So you had a little leadership conference with a lot of people, and one of the things you mentioned was like be a shark, and you gave us all shark teeth. Yeah. So can you expand a bit on that?
Yeah. So, my grandfather, coming from Cuba, fortunately he was put in political prison for quite some time. And, that was his favorite animal, and turned out to be my dad's favorite animal. Based on the trauma they had went through and the difficulties they had come through, they'd always talk about, shark is awesome, be a shark, all that stuff. But the amazing thing is shark doesn't have one row of teeth like we do. It has 5 to 7 rows of teeth in its mouth at just about any given time. So every time it loses a tooth, another one replaces it within 24 hours. Yeah. And I think for me, it's just such a beautiful story of resiliency. Some people, they're born to be sharks, but they're walking around like tuna fish. And nothing's wrong with tuna fish, it's great for lunch, but you can tell immediately when you see someone living beneath their potential.
And so one last thing is, how do you want to be, so you've gone out, spoken to many people, what do you want to be your legacy, or how do you want people to remember you? What do you want what do you want people to take from you and your message?
That's a good question. But I think one of the things that kind of drives me, if you talk about legacy to me now, which is different than when I was, 10 years earlier, is I never want it to be said that my daughter would come to any of the events I do, whether it's at a youth center, at a jail, or, in an awesome school like this, and she'd be standing next to someone and they'd be like, wow, your dad is really awesome. And she would say, really? Tell me about him, because he wasn't there for me. You can have all the followers you want, and trust me, I thought it was a big deal when I got verified on Twitter before you had to pay for it, and all that stuff. But then I started realizing, you can do all that, but if you're not the father you need to be to your kids, it doesn't really matter. And so I think for me, when you talk about legacy, I just want to be a really good dad. I just really want to be a good dad. And so I think, when you talk about legacy, that's just what I would say, is I want to be known as someone who was a great dad and who was an ancestor, who gave people around me a sense of meaning, a sense of purpose, and helped them just a little bit make sense of the world around them that they live.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you so much.
My privilege, thank you.
Absolute honor having you here, and back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Sharka. The school has already been implementing the philosophy of all in, with poker chips and posters displaying the slogan being put up around the school. If you would like to watch the full interview, visit our YouTube channel. And on the topic of school-wide events, financing for the expensive costs of prom can be stressful and difficult, but one local congregation hopes to help with this issue. Prom is a special time for high schoolers, a time to create memorable moments with friends or a partner, and to dress up in a fancy outfit. For many high schoolers, however, the fancy outfit is the hardest part of prom planning, as dresses can carry a heavy price tag. Despite this, one McKinney organization is trying to break this barrier.
The Prom Closet is an event open to the public for any senior girls who are looking to get a prom dress, who perhaps can't afford one, or just wants to come and get one, try one on, the variety of what we have. I wasn't always able to go to the shops that I wanted to go to when I was younger, so I always sort of envied some of the more expensive shops and places like that that I couldn't go to. I had seen the Prom Closet at St. Andrews in Plano on TV several years, and I thought, gosh, you know, that's something McKinney could really use. So I contacted their director. She suggested I go through our church, which we had been members here since 1999. So went through the youth pastor, spoke with her first. She thought it was a great idea, and that's how it took off.
The McKinney Prom Closet receives donations from not only individuals, but other organizations who have multiple dresses to spare.
We had 200 gowns donated this year through Keller Williams Realtors, which was wonderful. We went from about $450 to $650. I feel grateful for the donations, and it just makes my heart feel good that we can give back to the girls in this community that are so worthy.
The girls who receive a prom dress can keep them for free and can choose from a very wide selection.
This is what she looks like in all her beauty and glory. My favorite part is the back. It's just like, it kind of crosses, and I love that. And also like the beading, I love how like it looks like kind of like vintage, but it's also like cute. And I also love the color. My school had like a poster all around the school. Well, my friend and I just found it and we were like, we should go to this. I think that it's a great idea because going to stores and thinking that it's gonna cost like $500 or like $200, it's just too much money. So I think it's really nice that we have this to like get the dresses for free.
The organization, by providing quality dresses for those who need them, hope to relieve the stress of saving up for expensive clothing. With every dress, they make the joy of prom more accessible. Reporting for WGTV, I'm Tyler Medeiros. While the McKinney Prom Closet is now closed for the season, the charity of those donating and those organizing the event will not go unnoticed. For more information about the event, go to mysumc.org/McKinney-prom-closet. Again, that is mysumc.org/McKinney-prom-closet.
On April 8th, there will be a total solar eclipse, meaning the moon will appear to completely cover the sun. This event is said to be the last visible in the U.S. for 20 years. Students will be released to observe the eclipse and will be given protective glasses.
Many teens struggle with their body image and how their peers perceive the ideal body type to be. Millie Salinas approaches how students in Walnut Grove think about the standards and expectations that society has.
The least favorite thing about myself is probably either my nose, the way it looks from the side, or I feel like my ears are really big whenever I have my hair pulled back.
For me, about my body, it's always been about my stomach.
I have acne. It's probably the worst. It's right on your face so everyone can see it.
Body image is an impactful element in today's world, and for some people, it can shape their lives. Everyone has an image of what an ideal body looks like, but with how damaging it can be to some people's mental state, is it truly a topic of everyday conversation? With the many opinions on body image and how it should be, people talking negatively about their own body can lead to body dysmorphia, a condition which causes people to obsess over flaws in their appearance.
It really destroys their entire life in the sense of, it becomes all you think about. It becomes all-consuming and takes their entire focus away from truly living their lives. If someone's spending long amounts of time, looking at themselves in the bathroom or, things like that, kind of body checking, as we would call it. If they're making lots of derogatory comments about themselves, I think those would all be signs that something's going on more serious.
This negative self-narrative can make a harsh impact on how people think about themselves. Ms. Clark and the other counselors at Walnut Grove assist students dealing with troubling thoughts about their body.
The perfect body is whatever you feel comfortable in. Honestly, there shouldn't be any perfect definition of a perfect body. It's whatever you feel like.
People tend to find greater happiness in reducing their obsession with perfection. This shift allows people to embrace their imperfection. With WGTV, I'm Millie Salinas.
There is more to life than merely looks. Nobody's perfect, and nobody has the perfect body or face. Remember, you are loved and cherished no matter your appearance. On a lighter note, Gabby Hogue is in studio to tell you all about the wins of Walnut Grove sports. Gabby?
Thank you, Tyler. Kicking things off with girls soccer. They did a total of 4 matches starting March 1st against Emerson. The Wildcats pulled out the shutout win 2-0. The next game was March 5th at Memorial, where once again the girls won, this time 1-0. The final game before spring break was at Centennial. The girls ended up winning this game 3-1. The last game was on March versus Heritage. The girls closed out their season with a big 4-1 victory. They finished their season with a 16 wins, 1 tie, and 3 losses record, and went with 13 wins, 0 ties, and 1 loss in districts. Placing first, their playoff game is tomorrow at Little Elm Stadium at 5:30 p.m. against the Colony. Boys soccer also had 4 games on March 1st. The boys played Emerson High School, where they fought long and hard and ended up winning the game 2-0. The following game against Memorial was yet another win, this time 3-0. On March 8th, the boys hosted the Centennial Titans. Both teams gave it their all, resulting in a 1-1 tie. The final game was at Heritage. The stakes of the game were high, but junior Hayden Mountcastle scored the game-winning goal to make the boys soccer team district champions. The team finished with a 13 wins, 1 tie, and 6 loss record, and went on with a 13 wins, 1 tie, and 4 loss in district. Moving on to the softball diamond. The girls played 11 games since our last recap and won every single one. On March 1st, the girls crushed Perman 16-4. The girls continued their dominance on March 8th against Centennial with a huge 20-0 victory. 3 days later, the girls beat Emerson 16-1, and another 3 days later, the girls beat Independence 16-0. If all this wasn't enough, on March 13th, the girls crushed past Centennial, winning 13-0. The team had been so dominant, they are in fact ranked 16th in state of Texas. They look to continue this winning streak tomorrow night at 7:15 p.m. at Lebanon Trail. Wildcats baseball is 3 games into district play with a current record of 2-1. The first meeting of the Wildcats in Frisco Memorial March 12th had the team walked away with a loss, but baseball cleaned up their play, bringing home the win at second matchup against Memorial Warriors on March 15th. Grove Baseball's next district win happened March 19th against Centennial Titans in extra innings with a walk away from Joshua Byers. The second face-off between the Wildcats and the Titans saw the Grove take a loss in the 11th inning 2-1. Wildcat Grove Baseball will be taking the field against Frisco Emerson game. One will be tomorrow, March 26th at Emerson, and the second matchup will be a home game for the Wildcats on Thursday, March 28th. Side by side as competitors, teammates, and as brothers, the identical twins that have a synchronized passion for diving and their love for the sport have brought them closer towards new dreams and goals.
Identical twin brothers are forming bonds stronger than just their genetics. Derek and Deacon Colbert placed 2nd and 3rd in the high school state championship, and have been diving together as siblings and competitors.
We've also just always had a love for the same things and a bond that's kept us together and wanting to keep doing the same thing. Our biggest goal right now is to be Olympic synchro partners, make the Olympics. So it'd be best to just stick together and train together, because that's the way to keep our friendship and our brotherhood the way it needs to be.
Derek and Deacon Colbert have always done the same sports and activities as each other, but diving became their true passion.
From when we first started getting recruited to colleges was we wanted to go to the same school for a synchro opportunity and just to stay with each other for as long as possible. I don't think many twins, yet identical twins, get to experience what Derek and me will be able to experience as being signed with scholarship to the exact same college to go be with each other for another 4 years. I think it's surreal and I think it's amazing.
Derek and Deacon always competed against each other as family and teammates, but now college is a chance to explore new futures and opportunities.
At the end of the day, my job as a coach is to put them in a spot to be successful. And so they make it so easy that We can just kind of give them the keys to the car, let them do their training, and they're ready to rock and roll. With guys like Deacon and Derek who are so skilled at what they do, it's fun to be able to watch them compete together because as much as they are brothers, they're each other's biggest competition.
Derek and Deacon have been diving since their freshman year of high school and are committed to pursuing their passion for dive in their future while swimming parallel paths. With WJTV, I'm Hudson Acosta.
Deacon and Derek have committed to dive for the University of Missouri. That's all for your sports recap. For WGTV, I'm Gabby Hogue. Back to you, Min Tyler.
Thank you, Gabby. That's all we have today for today's episode. On WGTV, I'm Emma McQuitty.
And I'm Tyler Medeiros. Thanks for watching, and remember, Wildcats, set the standard.